Welcome to The Wanderer's Compass, a Big Blend radio travel podcast featuring Joelle, Machia, and Ryan Joelle. So welcome, everyone. I cannot believe it, but today is the first show that we have recorded on location in Dubai. I'm just jealous because I'm not in Dubai, but Ryan and Joelle are in Dubai because Joelle was honored to receive 2 awards at the Fortuna Global Excellence Awards this month. We're recording this in December. She won the Travel Content Creator of the Year and Travel Influencer of the Year. And I just love the fact that we're recording from Dubai. I think this is exciting. And Dubai is an exciting destination, not just for travel, but also for people to move to. So it's an expat country pretty much. And we're excited to learn more. But first, welcome back, Joelle. How are you?
Wonderful, Lisa. How are you?
I'm doing great, but congratulations. I mean, like last month, we were talking about you speaking at the UN, and now you're in Dubai getting awards and doing another keynote speech. I mean, what's next?
Oh, my goodness. Well, next month, I actually become a representative to the United Nations for ECOSOC. So actually, it gets a little bit more exciting, a little more nervous about all that as well. But each step is another thing I never imagined. So I'm just going to embrace it, go with it, and see where it takes us.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So welcome back, Ryan. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. Now, I know you have to catch a plane. Both of you are kind of on your way home. Ryan off to Pennsylvania and Joelle back to the Pacific Northwest so she can see some rain after being in a wonderful desert climate. Ryan, I heard that you went traipsing through sand dunes while you were in Dubai.
Yeah, we did one of those little adventure safari things. So we got on a little 4x4 thing, and rode through the dunes a little bit, and then we got back, and then we jumped in SUV, and then one of the guides kind of tore up the sand dunes a little more there, which was a little nerve-wracking at points because he gets right on the top of those dunes and starts sliding around. You're thinking but he's clearly been doing that for a long time. And then we stopped for a minute. We did little some sandboarding on a snowboard, down the dunes for a couple minutes, and then we headed back and went into a kind of like base camp thing out in the dunes there, and had this big feast, and show, with some dancers and fire twirlers and breathers and everything. So it was fun, kind of like almost like a circus, but in a way it felt like, but just getting that little bit of the culture, a little bit of just, fun, almost like a Vegas kind of thing, but all kind of mixed into one. So it was pretty fun.
It's interesting about Dubai because, I mean, it's was first established in 1822. Then as Dubai itself, right?
No, actually, we happened to be here for the 54th year. It was their national UAE Day. So they started 54 years ago after they were ruled by the British forever. And then the British sort of walked away from it, and they became this United Emirates, which is actually a United Arab Emirates. That's what Emirates stands for. And there's 7 separate emirates, so 7 basically separate emirate families that have all joined under one umbrella, which is the UAE. So it is their 54th year of existence. They're definitely growing. It's actually remarkable, the city of Dubai. So there's a total of about 11 million people in the UAE. 4 million are in Dubai and about 4 million in Abu Dhabi, which is the capital. And then the rest are spread out throughout the country. And this is a very much growing city. When you think that there wasn't a whole lot here, and now we've got some amazing skyscrapers, but you've never seen so many cranes. The buildings is constant. Everything around you is being built. The roads are being built. These massive towers being built. They're all architecturally magnificent. I mean, everything is a piece of work. And if people are aware or not aware, Dubai is where the tallest building in the world is. It's the Burj Khalifa, which is built by Emaar, which is a huge real estate development firm. And next to it is the Dubai Mall, which is the largest mall in the world, with over 1,200 stores and I believe over 12 million square feet of space. It's remarkable. So the city is this metropolis that's very much evolving, very much growing. But 25 years ago, a lot of this wasn't here. I mean, this development, the Burj Khalifa, all that was all been in the last 25 years. It almost looks like it's going to double based on all the construction and the new skyscrapers we're seeing built. And interestingly, in the main part of the city, with the business part of the city, the Burj Khalifa, Dubai Mall area, is predominantly all expats. As you mentioned before, this country is an incredible mix of immigrants, and they have it working unbelievably well. The amount of population that's Emirati is what, 10%? And the rest is a diverse population throughout the world. And we've gotten so many incredible conversations with people from all over the world over the last 9 days, and learning about what life is here and the culture and this intermixing of people, how much they love it here. From people that we talk to from London, from Egypt, to from India, Bangladesh, and other parts of the world, it's really remarkable how much they love living here. And they speak to the quality of life and the respect for each other, that even if you're, working, as a cleaner of a hotel, or if you're a marketing manager, people are treated with respect, and that they feel like they have a place here, that they're not lost, that they have a voice, which I don't think either of us expected. I think Ryan has been even more surprised than me at the way this city functions and how this culture functions here. So that's been a very interesting part of it. So when you, in this area, the main business area is, of course, a ton of business corporations, which is the hub of businesses throughout the whole world. And then the majority of people living here are expats. And so you've got this beautiful downtown area, and it's growing a lot, because there's parts of it you're like, wow, it's just all dirt and dust, because they're building all new skyscrapers there. And it's crazy how busy. I don't know how you're a better way to elaborate all that, Ryan, than I just did.
Not really. It's impressive. It's really impressive. I think the biggest thing, I mean, one, they have the room. I think they kind of have like a blank slate in a way, which I think helps them be able to bring all these people in collaboration, and to, like, shoot for the sky, shoot for the limit of what you can do architecturally, and infrastructure, and the stuff that they create, and you could take your craziest ideas and dreams and like fantasies and throw it into a building or a park or that mall or something, and just do it. I think that's pretty impressive. I mean, it's not exactly what I thought it would be getting here. I'm expecting it's going to be a little stuffy, and because every time you hear about UAE and Dubai, it's like supercars and the royalty people, and like the wealthy that come here, and it's just flaunting this and flaunting that. And right now, I mean, I don't get that sense at all, really. I mean, there are supercars, there's Rolls Royces running around everywhere, but it's a lot more laid back with respects to like how people can dress, how people can act. I mean, it's still very conservative and respectful in many ways, but you feel like you're in Beverly Hills or something here in a way. There's fancy cars, there's fancy people dressed fancy, but it doesn't have that stuffy feel or anything. And just seeing how culturally different it is, it's pretty great, in the melting pot of what they have here and how they're expanding on it, and creating something like that's nowhere else in the world. So it's pretty awesome.
Last night we were at a restaurant.
I was going to
Sorry.
say,
Go
last
ahead.
month we were talking about sustainability, and we were talking about everything you learned from the gathering at the UN this year. And everyone, 2026, when this airs in January, know that we're going to be kicking off a whole new series with Ryan and Joelle, really looking at these different principles and goals through the United Nations. And when we were talking last month, we were talking about just that the unity, United Nations is united in unity. And it sounds to me like Dubai is like right in that cradle of that kind of the respect and behavior amongst each other as humans, whether you're a visitor or a local or an immigrated local, right?
Right. And I think we see here a lot of Indians. I would say that's predominant population we see are people from India, but there's also a lot of Pakistanis here. They all, again, they merge together. They seem to obviously have found this really neutral place where they all can just be who they can be. And as Ryan brought up the point of dressing down, I'm actually impressed how dressed down it is. I mean, we went to a restaurant last night that was a Michelin star chef's restaurant. It's not a Michelin star restaurant, but the chef is. And people are there in flip flops, and people are there. And one person walked by in athletic pants. Then other
How
people are
she
dressed in dresses. But everyone is seems again. You do what you want as long as you're just respectful around you. There seems to be this normalcy of just everyone being who they are, and you don't get the sense of, again, as Ryan said, I really thought it was going to be stuffy a little bit. Where like, oh, you get special treatment because you're here or there. No. And speaking of sustainability, we're very impressed so far with their strong efforts to eliminate plastic. In two of our hotels, all our water has been bottled and it's changed every day, new bottles, but it's all bottled water. You see it, garbage, recycling. There seems to be a real effort here. The water is recycled from the sea. There just seems to be, again, stronger than I expected in a city like this. I thought, oh, this is going to be a thing where everything's extreme and they don't care. And that doesn't seem to be the case. And again, it's very clean. There's garbage cans everywhere.
clean.
To be very clean. Subways are clean. Subway system is very fast, very efficient, very organized. It's a place that I just didn't expect to be so in awe of, but more importantly, the people, this is a service industry. And we're not just talking our hotels, where they absolutely are probably the most attentive service place we've seen. They are constantly, is there anything we can do? How's your meal? Is there anything we can, a constant service from the point of, getting out of your car and your luggage, extremely attentive to everybody. And this includes in restaurants we just walk into that have nothing to do with our hotel, or walking around markets or souks or places like that. It's just a culture of people seem very helpful and engaging and love to have conversation and ask questions, but also in a very sort of mellow way. It's again, as you might be picking up at both of us, it's been a fascinating experience. And we've stayed at 3 different hotels. First, we stayed at the Conrad in Dubai in the World Trade Center area, which was a beautiful hotel, incredible service. We just were blown away. Then we went to the resort where we had the big ceremony, the big Fortuna Global Excellence Award, which is a stunning evening. And that was the JA Lakeview Hotel at one part of the JA Resorts. Another beautiful property. The landscaping is stunning. The maintenance, the people, the beaches were beautiful. And then tonight we moved for our last night. Well, my last night. Ryan flies out tonight, but to the DoubleTree in Business Bay, which is, as I sit here and talk to you, I'm looking at the Burj Khalifa out of my window. And so we're trying another, and here, absolutely stunning, beautiful rooms, just the atmosphere. We met the chef, at the restaurant, just people are so kind. And the chef we met tonight was from Malaysia. The people who gave us a tour were Egyptian. The people who brought up our baggage was Indian. I just love this mix of people and how it all works here.
Okay, so this means that food has got to be really good. Ryan, come on. And I didn't know that you guys would even get cocktails there. How about that? Because, see, this is the thing. Until you go and people are going, this is the importance of travel writing, right? And taking photographs and sharing these stories and getting in conversations, not just being like clicking around and not actually communicating with people that are around you. So I think this is the important thing, but you did have cocktails. I know you already had
lots of cocktails.
Today. Okay.
Right, Ryan?
Well, I say a lot. I get a fair amount. It's kind of expensive, it's kind of limited.
Well, tell us a little bit about the food. Is it multicultural because of all the different people there?
Yeah, it's mainly, you get the Arabic influence, but there's a huge Indian, influence. I think that's probably the other main one. But then, but you see Lebanese restaurants, you see Egyptian restaurants, you see all this places from, the Middle East and around places that are around the Mediterranean. But then there's,
Italian.
Malaysian culture and influence and other things.
Iran. There's quite a few restaurants that are Iran-based.
Wow.
But the fusion they do is great.
Yeah. So you were talking about good spice and actually kind of lighter food, right? A little bit lighter. And I'm obvious they're going to have like farm to table there, right? And that's going to be the interesting thing too, because of the location of where it is. What's that scene like? Did you any of the chefs talk to you about the sourcing their ingredients?
So we actually met many chefs and all from different countries as well. We did an Indian restaurant last night, which
Awesome.
was amazing. Sort of a different twist on Indian food because it was the Michelin star chef that actually has a restaurant in New York. But that was
So
really
good.
fascinating. Oh, it was so good. Even Ryan was like, "I'm not a big fan of Indian food," but wow, that changed his tune last night. And 2 nights before that, we ate at a place called the White Orchid, which was a Asian fusion type restaurant, which was
Mm.
yes, absolutely amazing. It's the flavors, the colors, everything here is presentation is a big deal here. They love, boy, fruit like you can't imagine here. They love their fruits. Everything, every kind of fruit from dragon fruit to nectarines to oranges. They love their fruit. All massive displays of fruit, fresh cut as well as whole fruit. They love their salads. The salads are beautiful. They do get a lot of. Well, we talked to the chef today, the Malaysian chef we spoke to today, and he said, "I said, where do you source it?" Question you just had, Lisa. And they said, well, it depends where it's best from. There is some farming that goes on here in the UAE, but also certain foods are better from India and other
Yeah.
ones maybe from Bangladesh or other ones from farther out. They're not far from Indonesia and Egypt. I mean, all these places are relatively close. So they really just said we source from wherever we get the best products. And so they really are focused on that, and that you see that in these restaurants. Again, the presentation, their pride and the cooking, the freshness. Again, something I wasn't quite expecting, and the diversity. But it is funny. While before I made this, I walked around outside because Ryan's busy working on a paper because it's finals this week at the universities, and so I was walking around, and so what did I come across in just my circle around the business bay? Was a KFC, Starbucks, Tim Hortons, Costa Coffee, Popeyes,
Oh,
Subway, as well as a Lebanese and as well as an Asian restaurant and then one Middle East. Because it's a mesh of so many cultures here, they have everything. If you
that's
want to go to
fantastic.
Texas Roadhouse, there is a
Yeah.
giant Texas Roadhouse at the Dubai Mall.
This is
So
wild. And the mall
it
is
is wild.
the mall is massive, right? That mall is like its own planet, you know?
It
Well,
is. It
speaking
is.
of food, in the grocery stores, in the specialty stores across America, Dubai chocolate is making headlines. And it's there. It's like everywhere I went, right around Thanksgiving, it's like Dubai chocolate, Dubai chocolate. I'm like, all right. So, Ryan, apparently you found some chocolate?
We found a little bit, but we kept like second guessing of what we're gonna buy or where we're gonna buy it from. But yeah, we found a little bit here and there. But there's the one place she probably remembers the name. So we were recommended like you gotta go to City Walk, and there's a place where you can get some hot chocolate, and we're like, oh great, like we get a cup of hot chocolate. That must be like because you raved over it. It's like okay, we'll get some hot chocolate. I guess that's something odd you would want to drink and to buy in a desert and we get there, and then they ask us what we want. Like I got the dark chocolate with some pistachio crumble at the top. She got like the regular milk chocolate, and they come out with like a cappuccino size, like big cup filled with like just basically melted chocolate. It's not hot chocolate. Like they think about in Spain and in Portugal, that hot chocolate where it's really thick and you dip like churros or something in it. It's basically like just almost melted chocolate. It's like that, but like double the thickness. So it's basically they just take like melted chocolate, pour some milk in it to like thin it out a little bit, and they're like, there you go. Here's this giant cup of melted chocolate. And so it was very good, but a little more than we expected. So we were a little thirsty after that, but it was
Yeah,
pretty fantastic.
it was called actually the place is called Said Doll, which Said Doll 1923, and they have several, but we went to the one on the City Walk. Speaking of Dubai chocolate, that's been interesting. It has not been like I expected it. We have only come across it, as Ryan said, a rare few times. It is not easy to find. The company that put it on the map is called Fix. Well, they don't have stores. If you want it, you have to have it delivered to you, which by the way, there are so many food delivery people on their bicycles. It blows your mind here. But this Fix chocolate is we've only ever seen, actually, we've only seen really Dubai chocolate that is considered recommended in one place. It's not that commonplace. And maybe it's a thing that's reached beyond Dubai, but it doesn't seem to be a big deal here like we thought it would be. So that was a surprise. We'll probably buy some at the airport tomorrow, but we thought, oh, we're going to have 10 different stores. And even you talk to the concierge and they said, well, it doesn't seem to be the thing we think it is. So that was very fascinating to us. And the famous store that started it is not a store. It's only something you can deliver or order by mail. So that was another surprise finding for us too. So I think that's we came here with very open minds, which we always do when we travel. And I think that really has served us well because it has been constant surprises to us. That's what makes travel so exciting and so much fun, is that if you just sort of let the experiences fall on you and then welcome them and get into these amazing conversations with people. At the awards ceremony last night, or two nights ago, we really had some fun conversations with people from all over the world. But just the key is just to absorb it all and appreciate the fact that you are here and you can talk to these people and learn from them. And then the passion of what they do. And there was people represented, I think they said total at the awards was 50 countries. So there's just people from all over the world there receiving these awards. And so you really get to meet some fat person next to me was from Australia. And then I think the person in front of you, Ryan, was that Canada or US? The Katie who was in front of you.
I think she was the US, but we had British someone British person at our table, and yeah, there was some UK people, and just all kinds of places. Actually,
There were
there one was a
Saudis, Oman.
one Scottish
Yes.
woman there. So it was pretty cool to be able to see all these people that, and get to see their. Well, I think the fun thing was because of the theme, we had all kind of buy by a certain theme and style of like clothing that they wanted for the award ceremony. So to see everyone's like interpretation, you had like certain people like, you had a lot of very glammed up people, and then you have, the fun flair of like some of the Middle Eastern people or the people from India with their different style of clothing from where they're from, mixed with the formal stuff. So it was kind of cool to see that all together in one place.
Now, did you get your tux, Ryan? Because I know last time we talked
I
about, you
did
guys
not,
going.
but you should be able to
Okay.
find a few pictures of me. I had a lighter navy blue suit because the theme for the men was you had to have a was it teal? What's not teal? What's the
Teal or gold.
teal? Yeah, to that green color or navy blue. Well, no, well, so it was navy blue or a that like greenish teal, whatever color. And I was like, well, I'm not buying a green suit because I would never wear that again.
You can wear it for St. Patrick's Day next year.
Yeah, I eventually I got a lighter blue navy suit, and then you needed gold and coral accents. So I got like a dark pink, sort of coral, with a little bit of, it's like kind of like almost has a brown tint to it, I think. So it's like a darker pink coral shirt, a 3-piece light blue suit. Then I had the navy blue and gold striped tie, and then the gold pocket square to match. And it turned out pretty well. You throw that on me, it's going to look good. So
It's classic. So, Joelle, did you have rules too that you had to abide by? Can people watch you because you did a speech? Is this going to be available for the public?
Yes, actually, I personally have not watched it. It was live on YouTube at the time of the event, but my sister said actually she wasn't able to watch it during it, but she was able to pull it up on YouTube. Yes, and she said she could find when I got the 2 awards I got, and then which thank God, my biggest fear was tripping going up those stairs or tripping going down. I did not, so boy, that was relief. And then my keynote
on a beach
speech
too,
was.
so.
Oh my! On a beach too, with sand in my shoes. I was worried. And then when
Did
I
you have
went
to
up the
wear high
second time,
heels?
no, they actually encourage us not to.
No, but I mean, it warned you like it's on the beach. Wear appropriate footwear, and I'm like, the whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, do I wear sandals? But you said it's formal. I'm wearing like people got to wear tuxes and stuff, and I'm like, all right. So I found some pretty comfortable dress shoes that I could wear. So I lucked out.
We're going to have to do like a fashion thing with Ryan across the world.
Ryan actually is very fashion conscious, more so than I am.
I hear this.
I brought the shirt from Morocco that Joelle got me. I'm wearing my one right now from Turkey, and I have my other one from Turkey that I brought. And, I tried to
Joelle, when you're getting ready for this, did you go to Ryan for like a
I brought 2 dresses. One was a navy blue because there again, the theme was navies, and actually it was the one I chose, which luckily I was very comfortable in. It was a beautiful evening, so I never got warm. So yes, I've been like, "Is this okay? Is this necklace?" Yes, absolutely, because Ryan is definitely much more fashion conscious, and I was worried about getting those steps with the long dress, but it was okay. My keynote, which I have still not looked at because I'm a little nervous to see myself, but Ryan's can tell you to say if it went well or not, and other people have told me it went well. And I was really speaking about the importance of travel and its connection to people in this world and how we all need to do that so we can actually are better at, that we meet people face to face, that again, we don't come with pre-existing belief systems of who people are, that we actually get to meet and interact, which is, I think, what made this event at the Fortuna Global Excellence Awards so special, because we really did get to meet people that otherwise we would have never crossed paths with in our life. And I think that is what has been really remarkable about this trip and all the conversations we've had. As a matter of fact, the people at the hotel gave us a tour today, and they're both the 2 of the people we spent our most of the time with are Egyptian. Well, by the end of our time together this afternoon, Ryan and I've decided we're going to Egypt in March because they sold us so much on the beauty and the culture and the people and how amazing it is. And so before we got on this call, before I left for that little walk, I was looking up plane tickets to Egypt in March because it's those conversations you have that take you in directions you never imagined. And so that's what has made this trip sort of super inspiring as well, because it just shows you the value and what we gain from exploring this world, but more importantly, to connecting with people, anybody who crosses our path, no matter what their place in the world is.
this? Because I think, travel too and tourism, times people move to places they travel to.
Yes.
That's a reality. It's true. You fall in love with a place. I mean, when Nancy and I moved to Tucson, we did a media trip. Tucson, it was South Tucson, it's a different county, Santa Cruz County, and this whole area, it's just deep I love this area so much. It's very much like Kenya and South Africa. It's very, just the way the mesquite trees are like thorn trees, and anyway, and lots of wildlife and jaguars coming over the border. Well, I don't know if they've been doing that recently, but they were at one point. And the hiking, and anyway, I could go on and on. And then we went into Tucson and did some things like the botanical gardens, which are mostly, all these gardens there are from old residences that the owners were retiring or, had to move on to the last stage of their life, and they donated their gardens to nonprofits and their homes and their gardens. And it's like a little oasis, man. Tucson, Arizona, first gastronomy capital in the world. Sorry, I get excited. And anyway, we went to some galleries like DeGrazia Gallery, and the sun was it. And it was, about Ted DeGrazia is the most reproduced artist in the world. And this place he built with the local Indians and Mexicans, or his friends. He built this adobe compound almost. You've got his different galleries. I mean, when you guys go to Tucson, like, I'm going to meet you there. Like, Nancy and I are going to take you around because this is so cool. It's so, oh my gosh. I've been up on the top of roofs of restaurants getting the meat off of this thing that they're drying, and barbacoa is what they're making. And anyway, yes, Tucson, everyone, is one of the best cities in the world. And you wouldn't even know that 1 million people live there because everything is spread out. And the wildlife encounters, the food, I mean, it just goes on. And the cultures, it's very, very diverse in people. And we went there, and it was time for us to move. We always move now full time on the road, right? And we're just like, we're going to Tucson. And because there's so much art, the diversity, all these experiences just from one media trip. And we lived there for a number of years. And our storage unit is there. So we're still home, and that's our address, not the storage unit. But I was going to say that that's an example of how tourism boosts real estate. And because if it's done well, if when people go to a place, they feel quality of life. And Dubai, it sounds like, with all these people moving there, they must have gone there first. I'm sure there's people, though, just saying,
Many of them did tell us that. Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of them said that they came here to visit or they lived here. We heard a couple of people tell us that their parents lived here for a couple of years and they left, but then they decided to come back. And we heard this from a South African, from several people that said that, they left and they said, oh, I want to be here for a few years. But here they are a decade, 2 decades or so later, they're still here. One thing I want to bring up that we were surprised as well, is we expect this to be a very expensive city to get around. And that is definitely not the case. It's actually incredibly reasonable. The hotels are definitely dramatically less expensive than New York City. And this is peak season. The best times of months to come here are December through February, because their summers are in the 120, 30 Fahrenheit and 100% humidity. So the summers here are, but this is the time of year and the hotels are reasonable. The Ubers are cheap. Even that 7-hour desert thing we did with dune buggies and all that came to like $125 a person. And that included a full dinner and transportation, everything. And it's just everything we've seen you could visit here very inexpensively. The subway's very inexpensive as well. So that surprised us how reasonable financially it would be for people to come visit here. Of course, there's Michelin star restaurants. You're going to play through the nose for those. The only thing we have found that is expensive here is alcohol, because it's everywhere. You can get alcohol very easily here, but they do try to discourage people from drinking too much. So you're going to pay $20 for a glass of wine or a cocktail, which is like typical New York City type prices. But that's the one thing that is more expensive, is because alcohol is discouraged. But let me tell you, lots of people are drinking. There's lots of beautiful bars and lots of places.
Behaving.
People have to behave. They do have zero tolerance for public drunkenness. So you do have to behave.
Okay. Well, it just sounds like they want quality of life there.
Yes.
And that's the important thing. And people are obviously moving there. And I know a lot of people are moving out of countries because of, they just don't feel like they're represented, or maybe dangers and, things. A lot of people move out of South Africa. A lot of people stay there, but a lot of people do move out because it does get a little dangerous depending on where you are in the country. It's not still recommend going to South Africa personally. Everyone has a reason of why they want to move somewhere else. And some people just move to new countries every few years, like me and Nancy.
Yeah.
It's a way to be immersive, and I
Exactly.
think, when you start going back and back to a place, it's starting to call you. So I think there's probably a lot of people moving there also because of work transferring them.
A lot of jobs here, lots of jobs
Oh.
here. A lot of big corporations, enormous amount of real estate development is going on. A lot of the big real estate development companies are based out of here, and banking. I mean, this is a hub of activity. We didn't make it to Abu Dhabi. I think we're going to try to come back next year because there's so much here we haven't even begun to touch the surface on. Visiting we never visited a Palm, these made up things, these whatever you call them. And then
Islands.
Abu Dhabi's the islands, yeah. And then the Abu Dhabi is supposed to be absolutely beautiful, and there's a giant, biggest mosque in the world there. The Louvre has a venue there. The Louvre has their second museum in Abu Dhabi, but we just didn't have time. And we are here 9 days, and we feel like we barely touched what is here, and we would love to go down and see more of Abu Dhabi and maybe explore more of the desert. We were talking to one woman who said, they go camping in the desert, they go hiking in the desert. They really enjoy the beauty of the desert here, and the sand is so soft. It was really cool to play in the sand when we were out there in the dunes. They encourage you to take your shoes off and just sort of walk in it. There's a lot of beauty here in the midst of this very busy, beautiful city. The other downside, the only one, traffic here is something. It is something here. Most people have cars. So as you can imagine, a city of this size, the traffic is an issue. I mean, as a tourist, it doesn't really bother us. But for the people here, that was a frequent complaint, is how a 15-minute ride could be a 2-hour drive home. But they still love it. They still love where they live. So that says a lot.
That does. I mean, and traffic is it is what it is. I mean, I think we're just globally going to have to deal with it. But in closing, let's each of you share one unique experience that we haven't touched on that you really enjoyed. You're talking about wanting to go back, which is awesome, and explore those regions. And I think that's, exciting, because I think sometimes when you think about the Emirates, that whole region, sometimes it's just stuff that you see on the news or, on TV, and it's hard to actually, it feels so distant. for places, in travel. So I think it's really excellent that you're out there and exploring it. But let's start with you, Ryan. One unique experience that you think people should know about.
Well, I mean, really, the food I think was pretty impressive. Don't really like Indian food very much, but I've kind of had my opinion changed. So, they have great food, and being able to experience not only their food but different regional foods around, and then having different blends of how they're gonna mix Indian with the Arabian food, and they're gonna mix Thai and Japanese or whatever, and have these fusion restaurants kind of, but it's not, it didn't, the places we've been, it doesn't seem like it was like those cheesy, it's like, oh, hey, here's this and that. And it's just, you're just going to they just threw different stuff together. Like you do in America. Like it really seems like they try to make something quality out of it with, but still kind of keeping it authentic, of what the cultures that they're bringing to the table. So that's really one of the biggest things here is this food is awesome.
That's cool, man. I love that. That's like this global cuisine experience. And Indian food, I'm still searching for good Indian food in this country. So sometimes it's just where you're eating, And then there's the different regions that they represent too, just like Mexican food. And oh man, I'm a sucker for good Indian food. It is so good, and it's good for you. I'm just saying. Anyway, so I want to go over to. I know. You said, now I want samosas for breakfast, and there's not. I'm going to cry. Oh, and I mean good samosas. I've only found one restaurant in this entire country that has the samosas anywhere close to what we used to eat in South Africa. They were in a pizza shop in Dinuba, California, in a little teeny town that, was a agricultural community. And you had to go to a pizza place for samosas. So there you go.
You'll
Well,
find it here, I'm sure.
okay. Well, I don't know, man. This is starting to sound really good over there. Joelle, for you, a unique experience that people should know about.
I think the unique experience to me, which I think is just the people, the cultural melting pot that this country is, and how this all just works, and the people you meet when you just again go out there and engage, whether you're just walking up to a souk, or just the people you're meeting in the lounge, or people you're meeting waiting in a lobby or something. Is this cultural melting pot of people that just find the similarity of each other's lives, as well as respecting each other's differences. I think that has been a real eye-opening and very refreshing experience to see so many different cultures. And some of these cultures back in their native homelands are not getting along with each other. But here they are, all working together, and seems to have cohesion from what we see, but mostly just what we see, because sometimes what you see isn't real. It's these conversations we're having with so many people over the last 9-10 days that we really feel like we're getting a sense of that this works, and people are here and they enjoy it, and they mean to only stay a little while, and here they are many, many years later still here and really are happy to be here. And I think that says something, because that's not always the case, especially when you have so many different mix of cultures. They respect their immigrants here. They're the backbone of this country, and they recognize that.
Here are the rules. That's cool. And you know what? When you have rules and you have those boundaries already set up, it's like putting your fence up before you get the dog, then
That's
people know
true.
how to,
Yep.
it is true. It's just like, I don't mean to say it, but as in parenting, right? Then you have to teach kids like boundaries, like don't touch the hot stove. How many of us still do it? I did it the other night and I have blisters on my hands because I am stupid. But it's teaching those boundaries, because if you don't, that's when something negative happens. It's like teaching your kid how to cross the street. Look, all of that. So I think those being out front, this is how we behave in this country, then And then if you step over the line, well, you were told this is the way it is. And it's respect. And they're not asking you to do anything but have respect.
Yeah, I think that's big. This place is a little more progressive than other countries like it, and but they show respect, but it seems like they also demand it, that's a big thing where in other countries where it's more like they demand respect but don't show it, and you see the people being everyone here treated, and if like someone's being rude, like the cop will come up to you and be like, apologize to that person. Like they don't beat you. They don't like just throw you in
Chop your
jail
hand
and
off.
do
Yeah.
something really bad. But like, they're like, hey, that's not how we act here. This is not, and they'll make you apologize, and that's like something like go. Let's see that happen in the U.S.
That's
You would
so
laugh
funny.
at the
That's like
cop and then probably fight the cop.
yeah, and then the cop is going to tell you to go stand in the corner.
So it's like they don't they mean they demand the respect because this is their home, this is their country, but they want to be seen a certain way, and they and having unruly behavior and just crazy, unacceptable stuff is not tolerated, and it's like cut and dry. It is very black and white. Like this is how you act. Period. Here's the rules, and it's. I think it's kind of impressive because I mean, yeah, their system's probably not perfect, nor is ours, but you can see a drastic difference of like, if a cop walk up to the dude being belligerent, and then like the guy stops being belligerent, that happens in the United States. There's probably a fight and then going on, and then there's probably like 10 more police, and then there's people going to jail. It's like. So it's just it's a cultural difference, and I think that's one thing. Another factor of this place that I think a lot of people, a lot of places can learn from is how to conduct yourselves a little better and learn. You give the respect, you get the respect, kind of thing.
I love it. I love this. Everyone, you can go to wandererscompass.com, but we do have a big announcement. So this year, January 2026, as you're listening to it, we are launching a special podcast magazine with Ryan and Joelle called Wanderers Compass. And all the episodes we've done over the last year are in it, and articles, and we'll add to this publication, or maybe we'll get a second one, you never know, as we go along with the next series of podcast episodes and stories from around the world, across the country. So very exciting. You'll be able to read about their castle hunting adventures and places like the Presidio and, adventures, places they've called in from Turkey. You've called in from all kinds of places, Pennsylvania. So we're going to be able to showcase it all in one publication. So you can catch up real easy with one click of a link and see all their beautiful photos and really connect that way. So very excited to launch 2026 with a new publication. So we're excited, y'all. And please travel. It's going to be cool, right? I mean, and that
So excited.
We are too. So now we just got to get to work and get it done.
Yep.
But that's the joy of it. Really, it's exciting. And working with Ryan and Joelle has been a pleasure and super fun because they really do get out there and meet the people and explore with open eyes and open hearts. And I think that's really important to do as we travel. So stay tuned for that, and also what we're going to be doing on the UN's goals of sustainability and unity and all those amazing things. And I know there's a special word for it, but we'll get to that when we get there. So thank you so much. Travel safe home, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Wanderers Compass Travel Podcast. New episodes air every second Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can follow the show at bigblendradio.com and keep up with Joelle and Ryan's adventures at wandererscompass.com.